itself, but I want to highlight some things that are really important. It's interesting when you're off for a little bit, like I was, you get specific clients that are calling you with questions, and a lot of them happen to be around getting found on Google and why they weren't. And they were being asked, should we be paying for these new Google kind of um, uh, products that are out there? And so I've been doing a lot of research on that. So I just wanted to share with you some ahas on the Google side. And so basically, why are you on? Google is just a way to attract your target market, and you want to use Google properly to help you do that. Now, there's a lot of elements to it. It's not just paying for Google ads, which we'll talk about a little bit anyhow. It's not just it's many elements of Google. And so you want to know yourself, like most of you have physical presence. So what I'll be showing you is how to claim your map on Google. That's so important. It's really claiming your Google place. It's creating your Google page. And when you do that, that's feeding Google more information, not only about where you're located, but also your keywords. So you want to get found online, certainly your website, and you also want your correct physical location to get found. So that's what I'm hoping to help you do today. And again, I've got bigger segments on each of these elements on Coffee Break Learning, and I'll be adding more over the next few weeks. And and everyone here, because I was off with my brain surgery for the last little while, we extended everyone's we extended everybody's what's it called, your subscription for an extra month. Um, so if you're having problems, just let me know and we'll make sure that your subscription is actually extended. So they messed it. It doesn't matter, but it seems to be extended for everyone right now. But again, if there's any problems, let me know. Um, so basically, what you wanted, there's a bunch of different tools that Google has for you, and so let's just look at Google directly. So if I want to go to see if you're online, you would basically go to Google and then go to Google Maps. And on Google Maps, what you want to search for is your own location. So go to Google Maps and search for your own location and just pretend you happen to be Brant Basics, which is downtown. And there's a reason why I chose these guys. So when you come up on Google, it's usually just the red dot. So you want to click on it, and then this part comes up. And I have a whole segment on this part for you. But why it's important is if you are the business owner, you can claim this. You can claim it, which means you're able to click on this and say you're the business owner. And this is critical for you as a physical location. And then what happens is you're able to, you say, yes, I'm authorized. And then what you're able to do is have them send you a code. So you say continue, and it's going to ask, do you want to be sent a code in the mail, or do you want us to call you? It's going to give you that option. So that's what it's doing right now. So you got to find yourself on Google Maps. And then if you haven't been claimed yet, you want to claim it, because that really helps you get found. And it really helps you. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat line. So all you do is you say, okay, mail me the code. Now, I've had one client who I've been trying to work with for the last 3 months, and every time their staff gets the code, it just looks like a little postcard from Google, and it has a 5-digit verification code. It gets thrown out. So for 2 months, we weren't able to verify them. So today I finally gave up, and I called, and what happens is if you say call me now, which if you click on this, you say call me now, it will actually call that phone number. You can't change the phone number. It's going to call this phone number, which is the main number that Google has for you. So hopefully it's the right number. It's going to call that number and give it an automated 5-digit code. And that 5-digit code I think is only good for 15 minutes. So once you get that code, write it down, and then you're able to go back on here. It'll come up, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I just did it earlier for that client of mine that we were trying to get to claim their Google code for a while now, and it was knock on wood. And what did it look like? There, Google. I'm sure I saved it here. Yeah, this is what it looked like. So what happened is once I clicked on call, so it actually came up right away and it said we're dialing their number. So they were dialing their number, and they, as soon as you click on it, they call you at the 5 digits or 6 digits, and then they called me back right away. I stuck the code in there and clicked on submit, and then that gave me the actual access to change my information on Google. So for you, it's so important to do that. So I have a whole segment on how to do this. It's critical because I think each of you are physical locations. You want to claim it. You get the code, put it in there. So again, you could do it by having it sent to you as a postcard. And if you're the only one receiving mail, that's okay. But if there's a number of you receiving mail, then you may want to just have it call the main location. So again, all you do is you click on that and it's going to call, give them a code. So you'd have to let whoever is answering your phone know that they're going to get that right away. So it's pretty cool. So, and just get rid of that. So if I go and I show you now, let's see, knock on wood. So under knock on wood, we have, we just claimed knock on woods earlier today. And what that's allowed me to do is a number of things. So what you need to do before you do anything, you need to make sure you have a Google Gmail account that's going to remain with your business, with your organization. So we created a Google account for Knock on Wood. In that Google just Gmail account, we created knockonwoodptbo@gmail.com. So that now is the one when I claimed it, it's the email I used. So I used this email. That's the same email I'm going to use for YouTube. It's the same email I happen to use for their website. It's the same email I'm going to use for their Google Analytics. So I like having one Gmail account for all of the Google business tools. It really does make a difference. So when I go to Google Map here now, I'm able to, so if you go to Google Map, it says, well, where in the world are you searching for? So if I want to look for knock on wood and more, it brings up George Street, Peterborough. It comes up, and you can see there's some photos there. There's a couple of reviews. Okay, well, that's interesting. So you can see it doesn't say claim this business because we already claimed it. So that's pretty cool. Now I can also do a bunch of different things that I can look at traffic. I could look at bike, but I wasn't going to get into that right there. So you can see the difference once you claim it. It's actually already, it's actually, it lets you know that it's already been claimed. So if I want to go also to, I want to show you a couple different things now. So what happens when you create a Google account, you see these little matrix up here. This little matrix, I just clicked on the matrix again because I just want the matrix to come up, shows you all of the Google business tools. Don't get overwhelmed. The only one you really need is, of course, your Google Gmail, and that gets you into all of them. You could ignore them. You can use whichever ones you want, but the ones I'm going to show you how to use is the Google Map, which is where we want you to be found. Then there's something called Google Pages, and there's something called Google Plus, and there's also something called, where did it go? YouTube. So these are different elements that I think are important. So They've made it easy for us by they've put the ones that I think are important into what's called Google My Business. So if I click on Google My Business, it comes up with this whole package, and it's nice that they've done that. So you can just search for Google My Business if you want, and it helps you put your company on Google, which is excellent. It gives you the right point. It shows you what you're going to look like on mobile. It shows you how to use Google. And why is this all important? It's because it helps your search engine optimization. I should have started with that. As I said, over the last month, I've been getting a lot of client calls about how come I'm not getting found on Google, or how come my competitor is getting found on Google. And in each case, they did not claim their Google. They did not claim their own Google account. Each case, they didn't claim it. And so every time we went in and claimed it, within a month's time, they were being found on Google more than before. And it's an organic process, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. So what you do here then is you say get yourself on Google, get started, get on Google. We're already signed in with the knock on wood email and password, and it's going to search for the map like we did. And I'm just going to go back to it again. Sorry. Knock on wood. Someone had a question. I got this thing closed. Let me see what the question was. Can you, if you have Google call with verification codes, what happens if your phone is answered by an automatic machine? I think it might cut the code off, and that's happened before in the past when we tried it. You might end up with just the last two numbers of the code, so you have to be careful. It knows when it's been answered, but it doesn't know when the person stopped talking. So if the person's got a really long outgoing voicemail, so you want to make sure it's an actual person, I would suggest. So the question was, when you have the verification call from Google, and you say call now, I would make sure that the number has a real human that's going to call it, just so that you can get it. And can you associate a business account with a Google setup? Yeah, I mean, all of these clients that I'm working with are business accounts, so none of them are human. So the business is already an account. Yep, it is. I already claimed it. And so what happens is, I don't want to. I'll skip the tour. I'll give you the tour myself. What happens is, when I first claimed this morning, the logo was naked. There was no logo. There was no photos. There was no keywords. We didn't even have Google Analytics. We do now. So what happens is, they put all your business needs for Google in one place. And I have a segment just on the accessing your Google business. And if I don't have the segment, I will shortly. So everything is here. So what this does is kind of Google Basics 101. I have a lot of clients who have been trying to buy Examiner ads so that their website gets found more. And then they go to Google and they've just paid like $2,500 or $1,300 for these ads, but they're not found on Google still. So all they were lacking was filling this in, to make it simple. And it just, so all they do, so you do when you're logged in like this, you can see on the side here on the left, My Business. So under My Business, there's your page, your stream, people, photos, collections, communities, events, hangouts, all pages. So if you start with the My Business, we're on the Google Plus page right now. You can see, if you click on this, when you first go here, it's going to be naked. So you just click on this and add the photo you want. The photo has to be 250 by 250, I believe. So you want to make sure that it's big enough. What I did was, for my photo, it was supposed to be 250 by 250. My logo for them that I was given happens to only be 160 by 160 pretty much. So all I did was I cheated. I went to Paint. Paint is an app that comes with all of the Word and PowerPoint, it comes with the computer normally. So all of you might have different paint programs that you like, but all I did was I stuck the logo in paint, and I ended up just putting white around it until it was the size I needed it to be, which was I think 250 by 250. And then I saved it and I just called it Square Logo, and I updated it. Otherwise, when I tried uploading it, it was too small. So how do we manage this? So all we do is we click on Edit, and it brings you to the ability to upload all the information you want Google to know about your company. And it just makes it so that your company, your organization is found. Is your business title correct? Is your location correct? Is your address, your phone numbers, are they correct? I don't even know if that second phone number is correct. I have to check. And then the categories. This one is kind of cool. These are obvious. You know, your name, your address, your phone number, your website. This one's a little bit not obvious. The categories. It's really important. It's how you're going to get found, and you can't just put in any category because you have to do a category that is recognized by Google. So you have to put in, I'll show you what I mean. So if I went and put it in here like bedding, because these guys have bedding. So there's nothing that really shows bedding, but if I go and put that in there, bedding. So then I put in another category, and I'm going to put in knives. So when I go and click on save, it says, oh, we didn't understand. You actually have to select from the specific suggestions. So what you want to do is you start typing in what you think you want, and then you select. So I already put in kitchenware shop up here, so maybe I'm going to put in, I don't want to put in soup kitchen, but I'll put in kitchen supply shop. I'm just making it up now. So clocks. I don't think they have clocks as in selling clocks. No. So you have to figure out, you have to look at their categories, their suggestions, and you can only choose those. So now this company will be found for, furniture shop, sofa shop, and so forth. And I could probably add maybe China. Nope. Oh yeah, China wear shop. That'll work. So you can see, you know who your target market is. The best person to ask for keywords are often your target market. If you ask your target market, how would you have searched for me on Google? Then you look here to see if that word is available for you, and then you select them as categories, and it saves those categories for you. And it helps you tenfold to get found. So you've got the right address, you've got the right name, and your hours of operation, you can put those in here as well. And an introduction, would be your elevator pitch, pretty much what you have on your website. I normally ask people to just cut and paste what they have on their website. So then you want to finish your editing. So that's one of the things that is really cool that you can do to help your business, your organization be literally put on the map properly. And the outcome is that it helps you get found. So what happens is, from that same location, I'll go back to it, your online world, people find your online world, they can find your physical world, your keywords, which are in that case, your keywords are your categories that they ask you to choose, and then measurement tools from that same location. There is an error, please try later, I don't know what the error is. From that same location, when I go to my Google, I'm going to go over here to these little dots. I go to these little dots a lot because that's everything that I have for this account, whichever Google account I'm signed in as. That's where everything is. So I don't want the map. I wanted to show you Google Analytics. So earlier today, we realized that there were no Google Analytics for this account yet. So we went in and we clicked on Google Analytics. and I don't know where the heck it is. And where did it go? And so all that happens there is it recognizes if you have a Google Analytics account or not, and it gives you a little code. And I feel like I'm losing my mind. Where did it go? Um, I'll go to Google Business because I know it's under my Google Business. Get on Google, show up across Google, get customers, Google Analytics, Google Analytics. I don't know why they hit it. Last time it was smack dab in the middle. So with Google Analytics, premium, mobile, standard analytics, all we wanted was standard analytics. And you can sign up for free. I'm not sure what it's going to do this time because we already have it. But this is where it gives you a code, sign up for free, and the code is what you have to give to your website. And then what happens in your website, it takes about 3 or 4 days. We just did this morning, so it's not going to be tracking anything yet. It takes about 3 or 4 days, and then you put that code into your website. So when you sign in, it's going to ask you what your website name is. It's going to ask you what your email is, and then it's going to give you a code. And then you go back to your website or you give it to your webmaster, that code, and they put it in your website. And then it takes about 3 or 4 days, and then Google Analytics starts collecting information. And what's really important about your Google Analytics is it tells you where people are coming from, which keywords are they using, and what are they doing on your site. So it's really cool. I have again, some of the clients I've been working with have been buying Google Ads lately, and they've been buying other ads from, as I mentioned, the Examiner. They've got this great program where they buy keywords from the Examiner, and your ad shows up on all these different websites. Well, the problem is they didn't know what the people were doing once they got to their own website because they didn't have Google Analytics on it. So it's hard to tell if your Google ads are working when you don't have Google Analytics. You must have Google Analytics in order to tell if your Google ads are working. So I have a whole section, and if I don't, I will shortly, on Google Analytics. It's really important, and where you are able to create it is from your Google Business. So it's My Business is where you're going to be able to create everything from on Google Analytics and Google. So it's really important. Oh, code so that you can actually take it over again. So don't worry if a student did it for you and you've lost it and you don't know how to access it anymore. So once you've created your Google for Business and you've put in your logo and you've put in your information that we put in earlier, you can also add photos. And it's really cool. You definitely want to add the photos. There's interior photos that you can add. There's exterior photos. There's photos of your team. And each of you have such cool locations that, so you want to add a profile photo, a logo photo, a cover photo, and then interior photo shots, exterior photos. So all these show up on the map when you're found, and it also gives Google more information about you. So each one of these photos allow for a caption, so you can put information about more information about the photos in there, so more keywords kind of thing. So that's really important. So so these are the photos we have in here so far, and so you can add all photos, view all photos. I didn't mean to do that. So these are the photos I was just putting in this morning. So you want to definitely add people photos. One thing that everyone likes to see on Google and Facebook and anything online is all of your products, all of your services with the right keywords. So they give you suggestions, interior photos, exterior photos. So you want to add those all, product photos if it makes sense. And then don't forget the team photos. I mean, if you've got some staff that people relate to, It's easy to just go in and put in the team photos as well. And I think I have some people photos of these guys, yeah. So I would put in some team photos too. So it helps personalize the experience they're going to have at your location. So it's that simple to add a photo, and you can add additional photos. So it's pretty very user friendly, and it helps again in all areas to get found. So another thing that you can do, do I have to press save for this? No. Another thing you can do with photos, and it's fairly new, is if when I click on my business on the side, oh, I guess maybe that's not where it comes up. I have to click on edit. There's um, there's a place where you can click on it and you can get your collections. So I must be in the wrong location. Um, there's okay, I will show you that in a moment. So okay, so we know how to create your page. We know how to create your map. If you have any reviews, they will show up here, and you can go in and manage your reviews. So there were some reviews on this company that were just sitting there, and they were complaining about certain things. So I went in and I managed the reviews. Just managing the reviews changed us from having a review of a 1 to a 3. And that just happened today. I just managed these 2 reviews. So it showed that we were unresponsive, that there were 2 reviews and there were 2 unresponsive. So I went in and I managed them, and all I did was reply to them and thank them for their input and let them know that we've addressed that, and we did. And that increased our review. So I am going to ask people to review us so that it increases it even more. So that's kind of cool. So when I go now, when you were over here in the Google Ads, you're able to, in My Business, also create a Google ad. So they've come up with this new thing called Google AdWords Express, which it makes it easier to create an ad on Google. It used to be fairly complicated. I used to hate them when clients would call and say, "Would you manage my ads?" And, oh my God, they've made it so hard. You have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. Well, they've just made it really easy. So I'll show you. So you click on this and you end up, they walk you through, and again, you're still logged in with that same Gmail account. So that same Gmail account is just so important to your business. So again, if you don't have one, you can just create one from scratch and attach to it all of these, and everything will be automatically created to that account. So it's pretty cool. So here, what happens is it asks you, is this the right area? Is that the right address? Yeah, that's the right address. And it says, okay, so who are you targeting? How far do you want these people to live or be from your address? So it says, oh, I would think that I'd like them to be 45 kilometers from this address. So it's going to now target these Google ads to that location, and that's brand new. I mean, you used to be able to do it, but it was hard to get to that location. So that's really cool. And so then you save that, and then you say, okay, so what do you want your ad to say? So I might want to say unique furniture, or maybe you have programs that have just started. Furniture. Well, I couldn't spell before or after my tumor, so unique furniture, I don't know, chic furniture. So you kind of look at it, and as you're typing it, you can see it's going to show up over here. Most unique, I'm going to say best quality, for God's sake, goodness sake, sorry, quality and best prices, something like that. He's got a best price and quality guarantee, so I should probably put that in there. And then that's all it's going to say. So this is and so what it shows you is what you've written here. It shows this is what your ad will look like. And then what this does, whoops, is it shows you, okay, so this is what the ad is going to look like on your desktop. This is what the ad is going to look like when someone finds it through their cell phone. So this is what it's going to look like when someone's on Google Maps, and this is what it's going to look like on partner sites. What partner sites is if you want it to show up on specific sites. So that's interesting. So you're seeing that which part of your logo it's pulling. So I don't really like that. So I have to figure out where to fix that for them. So then, and that's it. So you click on save. And so that's what your ad is going to look like now. And then you decide on your budget. How much do you want to spend per day? So you click on the budget and you say, okay, how much do I want to spend per day? And it gives you the ability to then have a average per day, maximum per month. And say you want to spend, $5 per day, $7 per day, whatever you can afford, and save that. And then it gives you, where did it go? Somewhere in here it gives us the save and continue. It gives us how many complete this step. Oh, sorry about that. Home furniture is what I want to. I'm not office furniture. I'm not garden furniture. I want to be just home furniture. And so now it's showing me. I knew that. Okay, so because I didn't indicate which category I was and which when I wanted my ad to show up. So in your case, it might be, things to do in a certain area. It might be the categories that they allow you to bring up. So when you scroll down, it's showing me that I'm going to get between 9,000 and 1,500 clicks per month for this price. So then you got to figure out, okay, is that worth it? Is that what I want? That's how. So what they do is you divide basically your 1,500 by your 743 to find out how much each click costs you. So you've got to decide, does each click, is it worth that amount of money? And actually that's a pretty good click-through rate with what they're recommending. I've seen some recently cost up to $4 a click. I try to get it around 25 cents if I can. That's pushing it. So even $1 a click. It really depends on what your desired outcome is. When they click on this ad, what is it you want them to do? What is your desired outcome? So if it's to sign up for something, then it might be worth $4 a click. If it's So make sure you're really specific on how you're going to measure success when you do this. But all I really wanted to get at here is that your Google AdWords is just become much easier, and it's all connected to your Google Gmail account. So don't sell yourself short on the power of your Google Gmail account. So that's all in here. Then there's one other thing I wanted to share with you. So when I go, there's the profile, people, photos, pages is your page. You can add events on Google. And why is that important? If someone is looking for an event on Google and you've added an event, then your event comes up. So that might be something you want to start doing, is adding events on Google. It just makes your events more Google friendly. And I would link your event to your event page. And then there's this collections. I'm thinking it might be of interest to you guys. Collections is fairly new, but you can have collections. So if you have different services, maybe you have youth services, maybe you've got different tours aimed at different ages, or in this case, I'm going to create one for furniture, one for kitchenware, and one for personal spa items. And then all you do is the collections are a whole bunch of pictures. So this is the collections, and make sure whatever you're doing, obviously you have enough time to keep them up to date. At minimum, I want you to at least claim your location and add all the information to your page for the map. If you do have some sub services, you may want to also create a collection. So finally, how I want to end is YouTube. So that same Google Gmail that you created, that manages your page, that manages your photos, that manages your map, it also manages YouTube. So when you go to YouTube, um, when you click on YouTube, you're going to see these little arrows here, and I'm going to have a whole section on just YouTube. When you click on this little, this used to be on the far right for YouTube about a year ago. It's moved to the top left, like I said, about a year ago. You click on My Channel, and that takes you here to your channel. And then this is where you're able to, and this is brand new, we just created this one this morning. You're able to, it's not very obvious, when you toggle your cursor over it, you can see that, you can update your logo. You can update your channel art, it's called. So you click on this channel art, and this channel art's a bit of a pain because it's huge. It's got to be 2560 by 1440. That's a huge file. So again, what I did for my channel art was I ended up going to Paint, and I increased this. I shrunk this to 25% so that I could actually increase this to 2200 by 1150 as it suggested. And then I put I cut and paste here the pictures I wanted for the channel art. And if you try to upload a photo that's smaller, it doesn't increase it and pixelize it. It just says, sorry, we can't do that. So there's a description here on how to create your channel art if you want more help. But I have a whole section on how to do that yourself as well. So you create your channel art there. Whoops. And so that becomes the cover of your channel. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't realize as well is you want to definitely add your website, Facebook, and Twitter, whatever you're using, to YouTube. And then don't forget to go back to Facebook and Twitter, copy the top URL for your channel, and add that link to Facebook and Twitter, because it's now one of your links, and to your website, like when you're ready and you're happy with your YouTube channel. So here, if you click on this, edit links, that's adding your website, Facebook, and Twitter to your YouTube channel. So all you do is you're going in and you're adding your, if you add your website down here where it says custom links, add website, and then type in your website, add Facebook, type in your Facebook website, Twitter, and that in your Twitter website, twitter.com/ whatever your Twitter is. And we have, as you know, segments on, a whole bunch of segments on Facebook, whole bunch of segments on Twitter for you. And then here, if you have a public email address that people inquire to you about, then you can add that here as well. Don't forget to do that. So that's what that part's all about, the this piece. So that's and another thing I would suggest you do is if I go home, this is brand new, I haven't even uploaded any videos yet, but you see I have material on here. We carry, or Knock on Wood carries, Gordon Ramsay's plates. They carry these global knives. So what I started doing was subscribing to video channels that have to do with Knock on Wood. So I'm going to be going through all their suppliers shortly to see if their suppliers have video channels, and I'm going to subscribe to them. And once I subscribe to them, they automatically become part of the channel. So that's something that is one way to give some meat to your channel. Also, running out of time now, I have a whole segment on how to create playlists, because I'm going to create playlists as well for the channel, but I'll get into that later. So I'm going to unmute you just to see if there are any questions from anybody. The big thing today was really understanding, and please, please, please really get your Gmail account for your organization going, and then associate it with your Google Analytics. Put the Google Analytics on your website, associate it with your Google page, your Google map, and put in all of the right information so that people can find you on Google. And